viewers, welcome. This is Sudapa Bose, and before beginning my today's topic of video, let me wish all of you a very happy new year in advance. Let us hope and pray that the miseries and sufferings that we have been undergoing all these months, many months now, come to an end. This fight between virus and mankind come to an end, and let us all gear up for a healthy, happy, stress-free and prosperous new year, and let us all make sure that we start as soon as possible a post-pandemic life from 2021 onwards. Today's topic of video is IEP. Under this topic I am going to discuss the points. Number 1 is what is an IEP. Number 2 would be what is the purpose of IEP. Number 3 would be what are the steps we should follow while writing an IEP. Number 4 is what is the aim and objective of IEP. Number 5 would be who all can make an IEP. So let's start with what is an IEP. An IEP is the abbreviated form of Individualized Education Plan or Individualized Educational Program, as you might call it. It is a very fundamental thing of rehabilitation teaching, and it forms actually the basis of special education. So that is all about what is IEP. Now, what is the purpose of IEP? Why do we make an IEP? The purpose of IEP is to address the unique needs of the child on the spectrum. As we all know that the children on the spectrum are very, very different from each other, so their needs and requirements are also very, very different from each other. So to cater to that, to address those unique needs, we need to make individualized plan. So IEP serves that purpose. Now, number 3 is what are the steps we should remember while making an IEP or writing an IEP. IEP is a document which is brings about the success of a success of the child we are working on, and it guides it gives a basic guideline or the structure to the resource teacher also. But to write this document, we must remember number 1. Remember the following points. Number 1 is referral or pre-referral. This referral is given by the interview when we interview the parents, given by the parents whatever information they are giving, or any close family members, and the doctors. If the child is already attending to a doctor or a psychiatrist, those referrals we need to find out while writing an IEP. Next is assessment. Assessment is done by a team of professionals. Number 3 would be assessment is also done to find out the current level of functioning of the child, on the basis of which we make the plans or set the targets. Number 3 is development of the actual IEP. Number 4 is implementation of that IEP. Number 5 would be evaluation of that IEP when implemented. Number 6 would be to make modifications or accommodations whenever and wherever it is necessary. After implementing, if we find there are scope for modifications, then we do it accordingly. Now my next point is aim and objective of IEP. Now, what is the aim and objective of IEP? Aim of IEP is to find out not only the deficits of children on the spectrum or children with developmental disorder, but also the strengths of these children. Every children is unique and they have unique strengths as well. So IEP needs to, a well-documented IEP will find out what the strengths of these children are and work accordingly. So a well-written IEP aims at increasing or enhancing the strengths of the child, and also at the same time they focus on improving the whatever deficits they have as a child. So we need to work on both and bring about a holistic development in the child. Now next is who make an IEP. Here we need to understand that IEP or individualized education plan is made for an individual child, but it is not made by an individual person. IEP is made by a team of professionals. Now this team of professionals include number 1 the doctor or the psychiatrist, number 2 the counselor, number 3 not necessarily in this order, number 3 would be the special educators, number 4 would be a physiotherapist or occupational therapist, number 5 would be, if the child is attending in a school, the school teachers or the school counselors also need to be involved. Then next comes the speech and language pathologists. They also form a very important part of the team. And next is last but not the least is the parents. Many facilities or many schools or many individual professional, I have seen that they are making IEP without even consulting just after assessment they are making an IEP without consulting the parents. A proper IEP or a well documented IEP to achieve success, you need to have the inputs of the parents. Without the parents feedback or parents involvement, you cannot make a successful IEP. We must remember that nobody knows the child better than the parents. So we cannot ignore their inputs or their involvement. Even a close family member who spends a lot of time with the child should also be involved in making an IEP. So these are the basic points of forming an IEP, which is a very crucial part of special teaching. Now a few other relevant points regarding IEP. First is IEP should comprise of long-term goals as well as short-term goals, because the success of short-term goals actually makes us understand what long-term goals or targets we can set for the child. So short-term goals are very necessary. Short can be any short according to the level of functioning of the child. Now next point is a very important point, is that I have seen that many parents think or many people think that IEP is all about academics. It is not so. This is not a true information. IEP addresses, apart from academics, addresses many other core areas of development of the child, which is number one would be behavioral issues. Behavioral skill needs to be developed. Number two, social skills need to be improved and developed. Number three would be the cognitive skills need to be developed and improved. And number four would be communication skills need to be developed. Again, last but not the least would be the daily living skills. The daily living skills, which are essential to the overall development of a child, should also be addressed by a good IEP. So all these things come under IEP. It is not just about academics or just reading and writing. This is not about IEP. So these things need to be remembered before writing a proper IEP. Now that pretty much covers the main important aspects of IEP or individualized education plan. Now one thing I will mention here, that this is basically for the professionals, the newbies in the field, the professionals who are the young professionals in this rehabilitation field. For them I would request them to understand that you need to understand that I have seen a lot of times that you basically want the child to forcefully fit into the IEP, but that should not be our aim. In fact, it should be the other way around. The IEP should fit into the child, and you can make appropriate modifications and appropriate changes as and when required. And if sometimes the parents, I have seen that some parents object to modifications of IEP, whatever has been written, they want just those targets to be achieved. You can counsel them properly, or you can make them sit in your classes or attend your sessions with the child and make them understand that why the modifications are required and how much modification is required, when it is required. They will understand once you make them involved with your child and the sessions that you do with the child. So don't get too overwhelmed with the IEP. It is a basic structured guidance that you get to bring about the development and the improvement in your child. Don't get too stuck with the time limits and these goals and targets and everything. You just take the basic overall idea and make your own provisions to achieve your goals and targets. Our main aim should be child-centric development, child-centric approach to of this IEP. So this thing I've noticed quite a number of times. So I thought I'll convey this through my video, that we need not be so very obsessed or stuck with the IEP. We just take the guideline or help of the IEP to achieve our desired success in whatever areas we want to. So yeah, with that I come to the end of this video. Please keep sharing my videos. Those who are not being able to attend the special education facilities due to because they are remotely placed or for any other reason, they will be extremely benefited by these videos, because these are informative. And so keep sharing my videos, and and shall wait for your valuable feedback also. And yeah, see you in my next video. Thank you.